Hi guys and welcome. This is my mod review on Ancient Warfare. This is the detailed mod review. So if you're not the kind of person that likes to sit down and look at all the nitty gritty, then have a look at the video, the link of which is right below my feet now. That'll take you to the quicker overview, 10-minute long, to show you the bare necessities. But if you do like really cool things and looking at all the amazing detail, then this is the mod review for you. Especially because we have awesome stuff like working gates, working drawbridges. How cool is that? Ah, they're awesome. I'm going to get into this as soon as I can and as quickly as possible because this mod is enormous. And there's just so much in this mod. There really is. It's so detailed. And most mod reviews, you'd expect the guy or woman doing the review to have all the crafting recipes laid out in chests and things like that. With this mod, there's just so much involved in it. It would just, if I was to do that as well as go over an overview of this mod, this video would end up being easily hours long. So I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to brush over a few of them. If you do happen to grab this mod and take a look at it yourself, I highly suggest you get some kind of NEI running so you can actually see how to craft things easily. I don't believe most of the crafting is covered in a wiki yet. So yeah, NEI is a must with this mod. So right, to get started, the first thing you're going to make is this book, which is the research book. This book pretty much controls your research, or rather manages your research for you, and without this book you can't really do anything. So yeah, this is the first thing you're going to want to craft. It's really easy to craft. Let's just do this. I'll show you. This is why the NEI is so important. So grab this, and you can see on here shaped crafting. So this can be made in any workbench. You just have to do special workbench or mod specific. It's fine. So it's pretty cheap. You can make that nicely. Kill a few cows, get some paper, some iron, and you're done. The first thing you want to do is when you get your book is hold it and right click it. By doing that, it binds the research book to you. So when you first get your book, mine at the moment says researcher name Extreme Tom. Yours won't say that. It'll say, I can't remember what it says, but something else. It's not bound to you. As soon as you right click it, it will bind it to you and say researcher name, your name. And then upon clicking it on the second time, so right click it again, it will open up this kind of GUI. On the left hand side is available research, and it shows you what can be actually created once you have researched that. So one of the first things I'm going to want to do, I believe, let me just double check, is I'm going to want to build a town centre pretty quickly. So I believe that's probably under leadership. Yep. So one of the next blocks I'm going to want to build, or items I'm going to want to build, is this town hall. It's incredibly important to this mod, and I'll explain it as I build it. But in order to do that, I'm going to need to research leadership. Just have a quick look through the rest of these. So agriculture, one of the first farms I'm going to want to build is a crop farm. So I'm going to want to research agriculture, and then animal farms, command blocks, not just yet. None of those, although just having a quick look through what these various bits and pieces are, so I can remember to tell you guys, because this mod's massive. I keep flittering over it. So yeah, at the moment I'm just having a quick look through the various researches available. Also, so you guys can see as well. And there's some pretty cool stuff. You should remember though that this mod has been recoded from 1.6.4 to 1.7.10, and in doing so, the developer has decided to slightly change how the mod works, and in doing that, he's made the mod modular. So a server owner could decide he wants a particular portion of this mod on his server or not. And the developer hasn't quite finished it. He is still adding bits, and some of, as you'll see when you click on these, for example, naval warfare sounds awesome, but it's not done yet. There's other bits and pieces in here as well, like advanced siege warfare. Again, not done yet. But yeah, so we're going to want to start researching. So for that, we need a research station. That's this table here. So I'm going to jump in here again and just show you the crafting recipe. So the research station is that. Nice and cheap. you don't have to worry too much about finding this kind of stuff. Maybe the hardest part of this is going to find the gold. Everything else, pretty easy. Right, so do that, and let's grab these back. When you've got your research station, to start researching, grab your book and stick it up here. When you do that, it'll say Extreme Tom or whatever your name is. If it doesn't say your name, that means the book hasn't been bound to you, so take it out of there, hold it in your inventory, and right-click it again, and then try that again. When you do have that, you can click on Just Research Queue, and on the left-hand side is research that you have queued up, because you can click loads of these and get them all queued up here. On this side is research that is available to you. So I think we should learn something easy for now. Phishing. You notice when I put my mouse over this, it shows you a bunch of items. So that's the items that are required to complete that research. So for phishing, I need fish, string, sticks, and torches. Pretty easy, pretty cheap. So if I press escape, go back to this this GUI here. So I need these items. I have most of them apart from fish. So let's grab some fish. I'll just put these in the slots that it suggests. Need some more sticks actually. Loads of torches. So grab the sticks. 64 of them, or 128. Put them in. As long as I've put in the right amount, it will disappear from here, and it will subtract the amount that was shown here from the input side. So that's now there, and you also get a progress bar. So the progress bar obviously shows you the amount of progress you've done for that particular research. And once it's done, it will have already been added to your book for you automatically, and so show up no research here. There is another advanced feature of this, which I'm probably not going to show you in this tutorial, well, this mod review, because it's just, like I said, this mod's huge. But you can have the required materials come from an adjacent inventory, and then you need to select like which portions of that inventory as well. But I'll cover that in a separate tutorial that's specific to research and probably the warehouse as well. So I'm going to skip over that. But for now, if you want to do some research, you can do it manually like this. Pretty easy. Right, I'm going to grab my book out. Okay, so once you've actually done a bit of research, let's just say, for example, you've decided that you wanted to research a crop farm. You would have had to have researched agriculture, and then you get the crop farm. So let's just take a look at the crop farm, because with this mod, there's some very specific crafting. So here we've got a type of crafting that needs to be completed in a mod-specific crafting bench of some description. In this case, it's the engineering station. I'll show you that in a second. So that's the recipe. So just remember that, because that's what we're going to be using for this crop farm. So you're going to want to build an engineering station. Again, this is very cheap and easy to make. So let's grab a look at that. Engineering station. So yeah, same as the research station, except for we just replaced the iron, the gold that was here for iron. And you can make that in a normal crafting bench. So once we've got that, we'll be placing that down. Let's get rid of these, I'll use them later. And you notice a little book here. Now the recipe that I was looking at, let's just go and grab it. So this recipe here for the crop farm requires, I think it was a iron hoe chest. Already got a chest actually. Wooden planks. So this was the recipe like so. Oh, put my gears in there too. Chest and hoe. Right, now you notice it doesn't actually pop up yet, because I need to grab my research book that contains the information for what I'm trying to craft in there. And as long as I've researched it, I'll be able to craft it. So there we go. Crafted. Take the book back as well. So now I have a crop farm. That's amazing. Crop farms are cool. I can actually start to automate food production for my upcoming town. But there's another problem I'm going to have. If I put this down, there's going to be nobody to work it. And actually, I can't work it. These little guys need to work it. So something else I'm going to need to start sorting out is how to organize my men. Or at least get some men. This is a slight annoying bug. Sometimes you have to help them through the doors. Because they're very, very rude and they don't let each other go through. So I'm going to need to start looking at that. So in order to do that, let's take a look. I need to build... Oh, you can hear them going mental again. It's so annoying they do this. I really wish they didn't. So yeah, let's take a look at here in my research book and find, it's going to be leadership, I believe. Yeah. So what I need to do is build a worker. You might think, well, surely you need to build a farmer. Yes and no. I'll explain that as we go. So for now, I need a worker. So I will have needed to research leadership. Also, I'll need to research leadership in order to build a town hall. I've already done that. Again, if you need to do the research, just do it in the research table station with your book. And we are going to look at building a town hall. So let's just grab this. Right, it's town hall, AW crafting, so it needs to be done in the engineering station with this simple recipe here, nice and cheap. So we're just going to, actually, have I got enough in there to do it? I think I just might do. -1 chest. So let's grab a chest. Bing! 1 chest. And again, because I haven't put the book in, it hasn't completed. And there we have it. There's our town hall. And to build a worker, I already know the recipe for this. You need to have this have the gold in there, food bundle, and a wooden pick for your base worker. And there you go. Now again, if I hadn't had that in there, it wouldn't have worked. I need to put it in. There's my worker. Now, let's show you what happens with these guys. I'm going to go way over here, away from my town, so this doesn't get messed up with what's going on there. Okay, so place down my town centre. Fantastic. I have a little place to start my town from. And I also place down my guy. Now, notice above his head, he's got a little pork chop. He wants some food. He's already identified where his town centre is, which is why the red mark has disappeared. He wants some food in here. They tend to like eating pork and bread, so I'm going to give him some bread in here. So hopefully now, yep, that's disappeared. However, he's currently just a general worker. If I open him, he's got no tools, no nothing. This is like his tool slot as well as his weapon slot, and obviously you can give him armor and various other bits and pieces, and change his name to Bob, whatever you want. So, hey Bob. And there's also the ability to change the skins. It won't change it if I type in my name like this, but I will explain in another tutorial how to change the skins. But I won't be covering that in this one. Right, so I've got my one worker and I've got my town centre. He's got no tools yet, and nor does he have a place to work. So I'm going to go place this down here somewhere, like this. But notice he's not interested in that at all. So I need to make him a specific kind of worker. So I'm going to give him a hoe. There you go, friend. Have a hoe. Right, he's now changed his clothing, and he's decided, oh, yep, there's some work to do. So now he's going to head off to the farm. They do have quite a long range, as you can see. He's not even at the block and he's working it. Whilst working this block, the farm, he is tilling the land, but he will ignore the land that has grass on it, which can be a little bit annoying. So he's got to go in and break this grass up, and then he will actually manage that land. Also, just a good measure, try to make the land fertile and watered, like so. So yeah, that whole area should now be fine for him to work. But he doesn't have any seeds or anything, so I need to supply those. So if I open it up, grab some seeds, grab a stack of seeds, or one of those annoying. Right. So grab this and I put it in the resources. If I wanted to, I could put in bone meal, and he will use the bone meal from the special resources and to help the crops grow. Once the crops have grown and been harvested, they will appear in the top section here. So, yep, he will happily do that. It's probably a good idea to put a fence around this, because animals will walk through it. These guys will also walk through it. They're a little bit annoying like that. So, yeah. Right, you'll also notice that his health is going up. As he becomes more experienced at his job, he increases his... He actually has an experience level, but it also gets reflected in his health above his head. So that's nice. And if I wanted to, if I had some armor, I could give him some armor as well. So that if mobs do tend to appear at night, or if some bandits come or something, he's going to be ready for it. Okay, so now he's going to wait until that is done. In the meantime, if there is a danger, so for example, mobs turn up, his initial reaction is going to run to somewhere of safety. And for him, that's the town centre. But unfortunately, the town centre is just a block out in the middle of the open. So it's a good idea to cover your town centre in a building of some description, as I have on that side over there. Also, at night time, he will return to the position he was spawned, the position that he calls home, which I believe is over there somewhere. I'll just show you that. So if I force the night, he's going to head where he thinks home is, which, oh, no, I must have spawned him pretty close to here. So he's headed back to here as his home. If I was to say, for example, let's just do what's called repacking. If I right click on him, I can repack him, put him as some paper, put him down. He now thinks that that position there is his home. So if we make it daytime, and let's give you something to do. So I'm going to grab some bone meal and stick it in the farm there. Get him. Okay, he's going to wander around a bit as well. So if I grab the bone meal and stick it in there. Ah, okay. Well, that does demonstrate something else. When it rains, they also return home. So you saw him wandering off. He's now returned back to his house, which he thinks is here. Now, in the event of danger, he would have returned to that block over there, which is why I normally build my town centre and house as the same building. As you can see, that building over there is housing all my little men at the moment. But if you wanted to, you could have this as a separate building, like quite a big space building, because these guys, as you saw, he started farming from here, so they've got quite a long range. So if you had a small building and you had placed him like in the corner somewhere, he may end up coming home but be outside the building, and I'll show you what I mean about that in a minute, because I do have a small building over there designed to show that problem. Actually, let's go see if any of the guys have done that. Yeah, you can see them outside already. So the guys I'm approaching now, their home is set inside this building, but because this building is so small, if one of the guys has his home set to this block here, then he could be standing there, as this guy is. In fact, let's just break that, see if he will actually come. No, he's actually going to try to get inside. But sometimes they can easily be standing outside of the building and still consider that to be home, which is a little bit frustrating. So try to make your houses a little bit bigger. Also, this helps. This happens a hell of a lot. So this guy is now no longer trying to get in the building, I think. But yeah, they can get stuck outside quite easily, so try to make your buildings a little bit bigger, like this one. So if I go in here, this is where I've spawned all of my villagers, and also there's a town centre in here. So at night they will return home, which is this building. During rain they will return home, which is this building. And during danger they will return towards this block here, the town centre, which also happens to be in this building. So they are pretty much safe. So let's return back to our little farmer guy over here, wherever he is. Okay, so he is not very happy. He's outside in the elements, thinking that's home. Let's turn off this rain. So that's not ideal for him. So yeah, try to build them in a building of some description. Just keeps them safe. And it is annoying when they die, because some of them you've taken quite a long time to do some work on, and then they go and die on you, and that's just, it drives you mad. Right, next thing I'm going to show you is how to set them a specific work location. Because, say for example, you've got an absolute ton of farms, you might have all of your farmers going back and forth between the farms, but ignoring other tasks. So, let's build a fishery or fish farm. Again, you're going to have to research the fish farm in order to build this. But once you do, you can just build it, place it down. The number of blocks that are actually in the water has a, well, pretty big effect on the number of fish that can be farmed. or rather the chances of catching fish. So the bigger the area, the bigger the chances of catching fish. As you can see, the farmer actually can work on the fish farm. He doesn't have to be a fisherman. So you could grab a worker and give him a hoe and he will work on the fish farm. And he's already caught some fish. I'm not too keen on this particular fishery capturing tons of ink. So I'm going to click on Other and I can deselect Harvest Ink. So he won't harvest ink. He should hopefully just catch fish. So he's happily catching fish. However, I don't want this farmer, this particular farmer, fishing. I want him only to work on my wheat farm here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get what's called a work order. And I'll hold it in my hand. I will look at the building. Ooh, a little bit of lag there. I'll look at the building, press Z. That tags it as 1. If I was to press Z again on here, like this, that would make it his second station. I don't want it to do that, but just showing you. So what I'm going to do now is hold this work order, right click, and I don't want him working at the fish farm, so I'm going to remove that. I just want him working at the crop farm. So that's now there. I could, if I wanted to, set a work time. So if I had him set on here, I could have him set on here for 10 minutes, set on here for 10 minutes, and just repeat that loop. But no, I want him only to work on there. So what I'm going to do is give him this, and he will now stop fishing and head over and only work on this building. So this is now his building to work on. So he's there cranking away on that, even though there's not really a lot to do. So yeah, I could have them go between different buildings if I want, section them off, stop someone going to one particular thing. It's a very useful thing to do. It stops them stacking up in one place, which can be really annoying. The other thing that can happen is if you've got a particularly large town or city, then your men will possibly get lost. I believe there's a 72 block radius on this building. So might be a little bit smaller than that. It definitely has a radius, but if you end up with a really, really big town, then you might end up with guys wandering off, getting a little bit lost, or you may have placed them down somewhere. Say, for example, that hut there that I've got in the distance. If I was to place guys in that hut, I don't think they can get to the town centre here. I don't think they register it. They can't see it. And so they'll end up pretty much starving. They don't die of starvation, but they'll just get hungry and stop working. Because they can't find food from the town centre. So a way to fix that is you can put town centres in different locations. So in here I've got a town centre. So that one. And in that building over there I've got a town centre. And the other thing you can also do is you can set specific town centres for individual workmen so that they can actually find where they're supposed to be going or stay in a specific area. And you do that with an upkeep order. So that's this. So what I would do would be to, let's just get inside this building, look at the building, press Z, and I want his upkeep time in this location. So I'm going to stick it on, where is he? This guy. So that is his upkeep order. So he will return to that building. So if I repack him, which is basically just picking him back up, and I plonk him down closer to this one, I'm hoping, if this works right, he should return to the one I've told him, except for it's nighttime. So let's just make it daytime, and hopefully, we need to name you, don't we, buddy? Let's name you Jim, so I can keep track of where you are. There you are, Jim. Right, so we'll wait till Jim's actually got some work to do. In fact, I'll give him some work to do. So let's take some of the stuff out of here. Come on, Jim. Figure it out. There we go. The miners have clocked that there's something to do, so they're all heading back to work. Right, so while we track Jim, we have to wait for him to get hungry. We'll go and look at something else. So we've taken a quick look at the farm, how to manage your men in between buildings, how to manage your men in between different town centres because they have a radius, like a catchment centre, a catchment area rather. And now I think we need to have a look at storing the items that you start to collect, because as you research new buildings like cattle farm, the mine, various other bits and pieces, you're going to want to start storing your materials somewhere. And that's where this building comes in, the warehouse control building. Now, the warehouse can be a little bit confusing. I say a little bit confusing, it can be massively confusing. So this, I'm going to take a little while to explain this, so bear with me. Right, the warehouse starts off with this particular control block. So that's the one that you're going to want to find the research for, research it, and build. So when you place that down, you get this area. It's higher than most of the other areas. It can be expanded, which I haven't actually talked about yet. Like every other area can be expanded, pretty much most of them, I believe. I will cover expansions later and upgrades, but for now, that's, yeah, it can be expanded. So you place that down, you get this area. None of these blocks are in it. When you first place it down, I'll show you actually over here in our makeshift town that we've got slowly building up with this guy who just loves to farm, apparently. I grab a warehouse, so let's grab, no, not that one, let's grab that one, and actually, yeah, let's grab a small warehouse, a station, and a warehouse crafting station. Right, so this is where I want my warehouse to be. Let's just say here. So that's where I want my warehouse to be. When you first build it, it does have... No, it doesn't. I thought it did. I thought it already had some kind of rudimentary storage. It has no storage. It just supplies you with this area. In order to gain storage, you need to build warehouse storage blocks. That's these ones. There's quite a few of them. So have a look at them in your research and what's required to get one of those started. So you can place that down. And now if I click on this warehouse building, I can actually put stuff into the warehouse quite easily. And those blocks have actually gone into here. So they're here. So I could pull them out of there directly if I wanted to, but it's easier just to come up to this main station and pull them out of this. Okay, so that's me putting items in. But say, for example, I want one of these guys, a special one called a Courier, to put items in. In order for that to happen, they need to do that through a warehouse interface. That's this block here. Now, this block actually does require somebody to work on it in order for the items to become organized within the warehouse. So, if I was to put this in here, let's have a look. The egg's not there. So it's in the warehouse, but it's not listed. That's because it hasn't been organized yet. So in order for that to be organized, we need a little dude. So we're going to grab ourselves a worker, which I already have one on the side here, but never mind. So we've got a worker. First thing he's going to do is look for food. And then we want to grab a basic iron hammer. So here you go, Mr. Worker, let's give you a hammer. So now we have craftsman. His job is to organize. So he's come over here, he's worked on that. The egg is now organized into here, so the egg should be over here now. Yep. So that's his job. He organizes the warehouse. He also does some building and stuff, but I'll cover that later. Okay, so now let's have a look at what we've got here. No crops in there yet, but we do have some fish in here. Let's say I want to transport my fish from the fishery to the warehouse. Now, I could do that manually, but if I've got loads and loads of buildings, that's going to take me a long time to do each building, so this is going to be an absolute pain. What I prefer to do is get somebody to do it for me. So what I would have to build is a courier. You will have to do some research to get this unit. This unit is not the same as building a worker and then giving him a tool. It's a slightly different recipe, so you want to have a look at that. So then I'll have my courier, so I'll put him down. He looks like this. Let's just make sure that it's going to be daytime. The courier looks like that. Nice little backpack. Although his backpack's a little bit misleading because you actually need to give him a backpack. So I'm going to give him a small backpack. Again, you might need to research this particular item in order to create it and craft it, but then you can give it to him. He'll hold it in his hand. The other thing he needs is some instructions. He needs to know what he's going to be doing. For that, he needs something called a routing order. So we're going to grab a routing order as well. Again, you're going to need to research this and craft it yourself. Okay, so holding this and right-clicking, nothing happens. I need to tell the route. Need to put the information in the routing order. So I look at this, the box holding the routing order, press Z, and that tags it. I also want him to go to this block here, not this block, this block. He interacts with the interface block. Press Z and it gets level 2 above it. Right, and if I right-click this, fish farm. Okay, so this can get a little bit confusing, this interface in the GUI for doing the routing order. Let me just explain how it works a little bit. I get confused with it all the time. You'll notice with the routing order, I can click this and it changes north, south, east, west, up, down, and all that kind of stuff. That determines the inventory from which or in which you are collecting or dropping off. So I want to fill my courier. So there's different possibilities for this. I'll do an entire tutorial on actually setting up the routing orders, but this is a very basic way of doing this that I'm going to show you now. I want to select the upper inventory and I want to fill my courier with whatever it is I'm collecting. So let's have a look. Let's say I want to collect the different types of fish. So I want him to collect an entire stack of that, an entire stack of that, an entire stack of that, an entire stack of that. The way I've had this set up, Fill Courier, what he'll actually do is he'll go to the fishery, and if there's any of these up to 64, he'll collect them. So if there's only one of them, he'll collect that and wander off. He won't stay there until 64 appear. He'll just collect what's available up to 64. And then I want him to go and drop them off at the interface in the upper inventory slot. So let's have a look. So he's going to collect these, not that because that's not selected, and he's not going to collect that either. He'll collect these three here, and then hopefully he'll wander off and drop them off into the warehouse interface. Because he hasn't got an order yet, he's going to go for a nice little wander during the daytime. As you noticed, he started over here and he's just kind of just wandering around, as is the craftsman. I mean, you can't even see him now. Hopefully he hasn't fallen in there. They are a little bit stupid. He's over there. So he'll come back when there's work to do. So what I'm going to do is give you your routing order and you should start. Right, so now he's heading off. Did he collect? Yep, he collected the fish we asked him to. And he has not dropped them off in there. Like I said, this can be a little bit frustrating sometimes to set up. So I'm just going to grab him again. Come here you. Right, let's grab his routing order. And I'm going to change it to south because it's on the bottom. So hopefully that'll work. We'll see. Nope, still nothing. Okay, let's just double check. Yep, Oh, okay. Craftsman's already there. Oh, my fish are already there. So it may have actually worked for the southern one. Let's do a little bit of cheatiness and test it out. Let's stick these in here. He should come and collect them, and then we're going to look at this. See if he actually drops them off there. No. Oh no, he's still collecting. Okay, let's wait till he comes back. Okay, there we go. So he is dropping them off. I've selected him in his inventory, in his routing order rather. I've got that selected as south, as the southern inventory slots here. And I've got my craftsman organizing it for everyone into the warehouse. So that's nice and easy, kind of, well, it's a very basic overview of how to use the courier. Right, next thing, say for example I wanted to have somebody actually cook the fish for me and then return the cooked fish back to the warehouse. This gets a little bit more complicated and complex. I'm going to need another courier to actually ferry the various items that I need from here to cook. Now I'm also going to be a little bit cheaty because I don't yet have any coal, so I'm going to grab a load of coal so that can get in there. Oh, actually that might be full. They do have a maximum storage, so you might have to start. If you do notice that you can't put stuff in, you might have to add some more warehouse storage units like this. So that's those in there. So I should be able to add what I wanted to now. There we go. Add the coal in. Right, so now I want someone to transport coal and fish from my warehouse to the furnace. Okay. To do this, I'm going to either need to create filters or I need to create another one. I personally prefer to have one drop-off point, so this will be my drop-off point always, and then various collection points. So let's put this down. this is now going to be a collection point. Now if I open it, there's nothing in there. Not yet. But I want to collect coal and fish. There we go. Now what I do is add a filter, put my fish in. That says I want to collect so many fish. And let's just do that. Right. And then I'm going to add another filter. I want to collect coal. So there we go. It's a little bit buggy that you type 6 and it comes up with 64. That is slightly annoying. So now that I want to do is actually create a courier, because I've already got my filter running there, so that's fine. Filter's doing good. So we're going to make another courier. Courier, if you like. And I need to give him again, I need to give him a backpack. Give him a small backpack. There you go, Mr. Courier Man. And he also needs a routing order. So I want to get him to... Oh, I've actually placed 2 couriers here. Let's get rid of one of you. Don't need both of you. There we go, get rid of him. So I want him to come to here. So press the Z or Z key. And then I want him to go to here. So we're going to do this in stages. So the first thing I want him to do is grab the coal. So let's have a look. In the upper inventory, let's grab coal. And I think it's the upper inventory. Oh no, we already figured out it was a southern. Fill the courier. And I will want you to then go and drop off the coal into the southern inventory of the target, which in this case is the furnace. So let's just see if he does that. Okay, so he's grabbing coal, it seems. He actually is doing something. And he's dropped it off there. Fantastic. Okay, so let's do the next bit. I then want you to return here. Although we can actually skip a stage here. This is kind of cool. So I'm going to put that as 2 and 3, and the reason being, I can collect multiple things from number 1. So at number 1, I also want you to collect the fish, but I want you then to go and put the fish in the, let's say, north target of the furnace. I don't want you to put it in the south, and I can't put these 2 in the same work order position because they're using different inventory slots. But I can tell him to collect both things from the warehouse. So let's have a look at that, see if he actually does that. Okay, so he's doing something, he's just kind of stood in the middle. Let's see, he may not want to put that in north, it may have to be up. Like I said, this can be a little bit frustrating to get right, as you can see. You're actually doing something? Aha! He must have put it in there. There we go. There we go. So he has actually put the fish in there. Fantastic. So now this courier is acting as a transport between the fish that we catch, although at the moment we don't have a fisherman. I'm going to take the work order from this guy because I do actually want him to work both of these, because this is only a small town. This guy can do more than one job, so he's going to do some fishing for us. So yeah, let him catch some fish, and then this courier has some fish to transport, and this guy's got some stuff to transport between the warehouse and our furnace to get our cooked fish going. So that's pretty nice automation there. So we've got it being farmed, transported, and then cooked. Nice and simple. Well, fairly simple. Okay, so now I would ideally want to have the nice fish that we've got transported from the furnace back to the warehouse. Everyone's gone to bed because it's night time. I think I'm going to need to have another courier for this. Actually, let's just double check that, because it does seem a bit of a waste having so many couriers. I could have him... Nah, I'm going to need to have another courier, because if I have another... I think I can... Actually, let's have a look. I'm not entirely sure how many slots are required. So I look at this, press Z, and then back to here and press Z. Ah, I can have multiple. That's good news. Okay, so from the eastern slot of the furnace, I want you to grab cooked fish. You grab as much cooked fish as you can, and I want you to fill the courier. I then want you to drop them off into the I can't remember which slot it is now, how it works out. I think it works out as southern, doesn't it? The southern slot of the target. So hopefully he will now transport the fish back and forth as well. I believe this is yours, isn't it, my friend? Right, let's force the daytime. See what happens. Oh, I think I've sent him to the wrong one, actually. Because I don't want him to put the fish into that one. The fish need to go into a different one. So I actually had him selected on this as the drop-off. This is the drop-off point. That's why I always use as my drop-off. Okay, and for the drop-off, I believe it works for upper on that as well. I don't know. I'll just throw it in and see what happens. Okay, so just change this to upper. Just because I want to see if that'll work. Fill target, and let's do the courier. So that's your routing order there. So hopefully I'll actually take the fish. Can you take the fish, friend? Nope, you're just going to run around in circles. Okay. Let's just check. I know this guy's got a routing order that works nicely. So let's just double check that one. So him, I've told him to go to the southern. Yeah, okay. Drop off at the southern. Yeah. Just wanted to check. Okay, right. Let's stick you back in there so you can carry on working. There you go. You're just having a crazy day. Okay, so let's put you into the southern. Oh, fill courier. That's why. Okay. Stick you back, and hopefully you're not collecting anything. No. No fish. Oh, he is putting fish back in. What are you doing, mate? Why aren't you collecting these fishies? Let's have a look at your backpack. So this is the you do have some fish in there. Why aren't you collecting? Why are you not collecting? He might not actually be able to pick them up. It might be the wrong. One. This gets very annoying very quickly. Okay, let's try that. Let's try that from the furnace. Oh, that must have picked it up. Let's have a look. Because there'll be more. Yes, that worked. That was total guess. Because I would have thought that would have been east. But for some reason it works as whatever I put it, which I think was down. So you'll have to play with the inventory slots a little bit. It does get a little bit frustrating. If you were to use this mod with another mod, which you can, I believe it works really well with Buildcraft, you'll have to definitely play around with the slots, because that becomes a nightmare. So good luck with that, but you can do it. So yeah, now I have a nice fish production thing going on here. This guy's plucking it out, putting it back into here. So now I've got food. I believe I probably could have used that same courier to do all of these jobs. So I could have had one courier doing everything here for me, which would have been nice, actually. I didn't actually realise that until I was doing this mod review. So there you go. The couriers are pretty much the lifeblood of your town. They're going to be doing all of the back-breaking work for you, transporting stuff. So that's why I said before it's important to have like a decent building for the guys to go when there's danger, because if that guy was to die and he was the courier for everything, it would mean that I would have to remake his routing order, and that would have been an absolute pain. So I really don't want to have to do that. But as you can see, this is now being filled up with cooked fish and everything that these people want. I don't actually know if they're going to want to eat cooked fish. I'll put it in there and let's just find out what happens. So when they get hungry, the first thing they're going to want to do is go to here. So I'm going to build myself a courier and see if he'll actually grab... Ah, he did. Nice. So they do actually... Ooh, let's get rid of you. I don't want both of you. Actually, I don't want you either. So they will actually grab the fish. So that's nice. So now I have a completely self-sufficient town. Very small one, but nice, and yeah, it's good. Okay, next thing we're going to look at is how to expand the area on this. You can research an expansion. Have I actually lost my book? I have. It's in a table somewhere. You can research the expansion, which I believe is in one of the... let me just grab my book, actually, rather than guessing. Okay, let's grab this book. The expansion is this trade. Nope. I'm just going to go through these like this so I can find it. So that's the mining one. I don't want the mining one. Don't want the mass production. Gunpowder. Gunpowder would be good. There we go. Engineering. So the medium bounds. So we're going to have a look at that one. Medium bounds upgrade. So you'll need to research engineering before you can make one of these, and then you can craft it in this engineering station. Once you have one, what we'll then do is we're going to use it on our fishery. See, this is a little bit annoying. The guys do this, so sometimes you have to give them a helping hand because they're a little bit dumb, and he's just going to sit there and farm instead. Let's get you out of there, man. Okay, you've done it yourself. Right, so we want to put the... because we're all going to bed. So we're going to want to upgrade this. So what we do is obviously first get hold of the upgrade. In this case, we're going to go for the blue ones. These are for most of the farming ones. These are for the quarries. They even say quarry on them. So we're going to go for the medium bounds. So grab that. We're going to right click. When I right click, it's going to disappear from my hand, and it is now in here. If I was to break this block, it would pop out. It wouldn't get wasted, it would just pop out. If I click on bounds, I can now upgrade this by clicking on these, changing the size and shape of this as I desire. So I'm going to do that. There we go. I now have a bigger fishery, which means I also have a higher chance of catching fish in this area. So that's good news. So let's force the daytime again. There we go. Back to work, everyone. And I actually want to start catching a lot more fish. So what I'm going to do is build myself another worker. Here you go. Let's build myself another worker. I'm going to give you a hoe. Make you into a farmer so you can do lots of different types of work. He's going to go get some fish first because he's hungry. Right. So now we've got another farmer. Now, this guy, once he actually figures out what he's supposed to be doing... hello? Where are you going? There's work to be done. Here we go. He just clocked it. He is now going to work on the fishery as well. So both of these guys are working on here, which means it will be working twice as fast. So that's good news. Faster food production for us, and my town gets a little bit bigger. Okay, so that is a very, very brief overview on building your very first functional town. What I'm going to do now is run over some of the other bits and pieces that people probably really want to know about, which is the soldiers and gates and things like that. So I'm sorry this tutorial's got this kind of mod review is going on a little while. It's a giant mod, and there will be tutorials, like 5-minute tutorials for each of these things to show you how to do them in detail. But for now, yeah, this is quite a long one, so bear with me. Right, so what we're going to do is let's get some defenders in our town. In order to build these guys, I believe you first need to research conscription. So, conscription. Yep, so I need to build a combat NPC. This is a different recipe than the workers. You don't just grab a worker and give him a sword. So let's have a look at it. So we want a soldier. There we go. So we want this one here. Which, oh, sorry, no, let's go and have a look. Did that wrong. We want a combat guy. So it's a similar crafting. We just replace the pick for a wooden sword. So fine, let's grab one of them, or 64 of them, and I'm just going to plonk these guys down. So there we go. We have some little defenders for our town. Right. So the first thing they're going to do, same as everyone else, go and find some food. They went and hunted down some food. These guys also don't have any weapons yet. I need to give them weapons. So let's give you all some iron swords, shall we? There we go. Sword for you, my friend. Sword for you. And when you give them the sword, you'll notice they get the little band here. See, this guy hasn't got one yet. He hasn't got a sword. Sword for you. And for you, we're going to make you something different. Let's see if we can make you into an archer. Voila. Although I'm not entirely sure it works like that. He's actually put that in... I don't remember if you need to have a separate guy for an archer? Let's have a look. Can't remember. Archer. Nope, there isn't a separate recipe for it. Let's have a look in here. Combat NPC archer. Okay, let's just assume he is an archer. There is one way for us to test this actually. If we spawn in a soldier, which I was going to do anyway, to show you guys what happens with these soldiers. Okay, so soldier is in. Now, notice all of my townspeople run to the town centre. That's where they think safety is. When the issue is killed, so when the soldier's killed, they'll return back to work. Which is why I was saying it's a good idea to put. Oh, they're all spazzing out actually. Which is why I said it was a good idea to put your town centre in a building. Okay, right. Now let's do that again, so you guys can actually watch this turn. So there we go. They're all going to kill him, and he's dead. Now I've got an archer up here. I actually want to see if he shoots. Nope, he's decided he's going to be useless because I didn't actually create a proper archer. I just gave a soldier a bow, so he's not really doing anything with it. But these guys are going to work and killing. So yeah, the soldiers clearly work, and they are absolutely awesome. Again, I'm going to do a proper tutorial on doing the soldiers later because there's other cool things you can do with them as well. Like, let's grab this lovely tool here. I want to select you, and I want to select you. And let's go on a little... I'm going to take my two friends here on a raiding party. And I don't know, we don't really have anything to raid right now. So I want these guys to kill this cow. So I've just told them to kill that cow. And there you go. They're killing the cow for me. I also want them to move right here. So to move them, all I do is press C and then right click. If I want them to kill something, I press X and then right click. You can also get them to mount animals as well, which is cool. And I don't know how long the distance is. I'm going to see if we can get them to kill this cow way over here. Oh yeah, look at that. That's good. So if I wanted to, I could have an entire army with me, look down into a valley. Ooh, not as dumb as I thought they were. Look down into a valley. I almost fell in there actually. Oh, hoo-hoo. And slay the townspeople of my enemy in the valley. So I could stand on a hill and basically command my armies to do stuff, which is so cool. So if you're playing with a friend or something and you guys want to have like proper little battles, you can. Something else which is amazing with this mod is if you wanted to build a really funky looking castle with working gates and everything, you can. So I'm just going to build a very quick gate here to show you this. So, without random bits of lag, it would be easier. Right, so first thing I want to do is just build a random wall. It's fine. This is just going to be my gate entrance. Yep, that'll do. Okay. It doesn't have to be 3 wide. I don't know why I'm doing it 3 wide. I just like it that way. Right, so there's our gate entrance. Now I'm going to grab a gate. Again, it's a good idea for you guys to look at the research for this and everything, but this is just a very quick overview because, well, like I said, there's so much in this mod. Okay, so I've got the gate. I'm going to look at the floor in the bottom corner, press Z or Z, and then continue up to my finishing corner, press Z or Z. There we go. Gate. Abracadabra. So also, I want to show you how cool this gate is. Because
and that
if I do
brings
this,
us on to the
gate opens. Oh, these things are cool. Really, really cool. Okay,
Nice,
so you're
huh?
going to have to obviously research it and then build your own.
That is so
They can be exceptionally fiddly. I mean, I've just played around with this for like 10 minutes just to try to get it in the right place. You will figure it out. It can be very frustrating though, so just bear with it. So what I'm going to do is hold the gate in my hand. I want to look down here and press Z, whatever. And then up here and Z again, and then right click. And I should have, this is what the gate should look like. So the drawbridge should look like if you've got it the right way around. So this is where my gate is. I want my drawbridge to close. So I'll show you what it looks like on the other side. If you build it and it looks like that, that's the bottom of the gate when it's down. The drawbridge rather, when it's down. So, okay, so this, all you do now is if you're the owner of it, a button won't work. Buttons don't do anything with these. All the button's going to do is close this gate. Won't do this one. But just so you know, if you do manage to get an enemy in this position between the gate and your drawbridge, they can't get out. They're stuck here. unless they manage to destroy one or the other. But with the drawbridge, all you do, if you're the owner, look at it, click it, right click it, and then it closes. How unbelievably cool is that? Isn't that amazing? So you can make proper working castle drawbridges, and you can make these drawbridges pretty long, actually. I'm not sure what they'll do for server lag, but yeah, you can make them really, really long. So you could have like water running under here. So when it's up, they can't get into your castle. Something that you should note though is the gates are destroyable. So soldiers could come up to this and attack this. Same with this, soldiers could come and attack this as well and break this down. But that's all part of the warfare, so they can actually try to get into your castle. But yeah, so this mod, like I said, is amazing, and I've only just touched upon some of the features. It's so detailed and so intricate. So yeah, if you do get your hands on this mod and start playing with it, you're going to need a little bit of patience. But like I said, I will do tutorials, detailed tutorials on how to do everything in this mod. If you guys have liked this mod review, please give it a like. Drop some comments if you've got some questions or anything like that. And yeah, please subscribe for more information on various other mods and tutorials and all that good jazz. So yeah, thanks for listening guys, and goodbye.